welcome back to the farm. So today what we're doing is we're gonna finally get to work on our swather. We're gonna sort of rebuild the inside of it. There's a few things that are a little worn, or not a little worn, fairly worn out, so we're gonna do that. Right now what I'm doing, I'm in the semi and I'm gonna go air up the tires. There's one that is completely flat, and the other one's probably gonna be a little low. So real quick, just do a little bit of a rundown of what we're probably gonna be doing in the next month, I bet. Like I said, we're gonna be, with this video mostly, it's gonna be about the swather and redoing some of the deals on that. But we also have to add a few things to our rakes. It's missing a few teeth, so we're gonna put more of those in so that it picks up the hay better and moves it into one windrow. And also with our baler, I don't think there will be much to that. It'll probably just be greasing it up. But I think the plan is we're gonna try and get everything ready before we start, so in that way, where I'm going to college, so far right now, it's planned and it's still in plan for me to be going to Laramie, Wyoming. But so I won't be here a lot to help Dad. If I have to, I'll be coming home on the weekends to swath and maybe help bale. But we're trying to help Dad get everything ready before I leave, so in that way he just has to go swath and rake and bale. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'll try and do, if we have much to do on the rakes, I'll do a video about that, but for now it's going to be about the swather. In the previous video, which if you want to watch it, I'll put a link to it in the top right corner of the video, but I stated the tractor was over the hours for an oil change. So while I do this, I think Dad's going to work on a tractor's oil changed, and then I think from there we will drop the quick hitch off the tractor and hook up to the swather. But anyways, I'll give you a quick little rundown on our swather here. Our swather is the CaseIH DC515. It's a hydro swing swather, and so what that is you connect it to the tractor, and the reason we have to disconnect the quick hitch is that is a part of the 3-point, and it's the part that actually makes it a 3-point hookup. I'll show you that later, but it hooks up right here and over there. It is driven by the PTO, and that means, so the PTO hooks up to the tractor and it runs down this long shaft here, and then I believe it goes to that side, and then it is a disc bind, so it's driven by the discs, and I'll get more into that later when we start redoing it. I think it's this tire. Yeah, this tire is flat. Luckily it looks like it's still on the bead. That tire looks like it's still pretty good. So the reason we have to use the semi, we could use the air bubble, but our air compressor in the shop it's acting up, and we can't really air our tires up. It doesn't stay on long enough, and it doesn't build enough pressure, so we got to use this. First thing you got to do is you got to undo this tray. I believe they're called glide hands, but you got to undo that air line to the semi, and then we have in this deal, I know it's not rolled up the best, but I just used it for the tractor. We had to change a valve stem on the tractor, so I had to air that tire up. But then you take this and connect it to the air line from the truck. So now that I got that connected, what you have to do is you have to come back up into the semi, and once you're in the semi, you have to push this one in. As you can see, it says trailer air supply, so you push that in, and then we also pull this out. This is a throttle control. It's a little touchy in Dad's semi, but I normally For this, I normally do about right in there. As you can see, Dad's is very touchy. It also sometimes will climb in RPMs, so I'll get that, or right there's probably gonna be, right there's good. So now we'll go air up the tire. I better get the test tube, but now I'll air up the tires and then we'll go see what Dad needs to do on the tractor. So I did get some air put into this, but more or less I chickened out. The reason I did was because there's a gigantic crack where it's weathered right in here. It's you can see it right there, but I did not feel comfortable putting a whole lot of air in that, so I got enough into it where we probably could move it, but I just don't want that blowing out while I'm right next to it putting air in it. So I put a decent amount in it and I'm gonna call it good for now, and I'll talk to Dad and see. We'll probably just end up changing that tire. All right, so I got that taken care of. Like I said, that one tire was iffy, so I put enough air into it to get it up to the shed and move around the yard. But now I'm gonna take this semi and put it back where we had it. I'm gonna have to do a little backing up because this spot is a little tight. I got the tractor pulled here into the shed. Got it, this area fairly good. As I was saying, it's at 200, I don't know if you can see that, 258.8 hours. I think, might be wrong, I think we normally try and go 250 hours. Could be wrong, but that's what we're gonna do real quick. We're gonna get the oil changed and then we'll drop the quick hitch off, which I'll show that when we do it. But once we do that, get the oil changed, we'll be good to go hook up the Swather. Welcome back. It's another day. It's a few days later actually, but I wasn't here the last 2 days. I had to go help an uncle with a few things, but Dad ended up getting our Swather hooked up. We got the wheel off. It's right there. We're getting ready to put it on. But I'll show you what I was saying about the hookup point. So this here is what I was meaning before we had that quick attach deal, which was a lot more stuff right here, but you just take it off and then these two arms can flow or move separately and you can put them on. And we'll have to raise the 3-point up, or the arms up, because if you can tell, we have to run that level. It's just settled. But what we're going to end up replacing are these deals here. We're going to replace them because as you can see, there's holes worn out, and a lot of them are like this to where it's completely cracked through and they're really getting worn. We're also probably going to do these are pretty worn too. As you can see, it's just a deal, the bolts basically run through. I don't exactly know how we're going to do that, what all that's going to take, but we're going to try and redo these. Probably definitely do these ones. But yeah, we got a fair amount that we have to do on it, but we still have quite a bit of time before we're gonna need to start swathing. So hopefully it won't be a big deal. It won't take too terribly long. But that's what we're gonna be working on for the rest of this video. Stay tuned. So it's a few weeks later. Our Swather project rebuild got delayed a little bit because it took a little while for our parts to come in to make them, but we got all the parts now except for the one pin for the back deflector, so we'll have to get that specially made, I bet. But we're hooking up to the Swather right now, and we're gonna finish this little project up. Shouldn't take too much longer. It'll just be a matter of getting it done. Right now, we're hooking up to the swather. Dad's getting everything ready. We changed an end, or Dad changed an end on one of the hoses when we took it out. It kept leaking all the time, so we changed that. So right now what Dad is doing, where we didn't have the quick attach part of the 3-point on, those arms could move freely, so we put a wire there to help hold them and keep them out of the tires. But since we're hooking back up to the swather, we're taking that out, and as you can see, their arms are kind of moving on their own, and then we'll drop the arms down and we'll be able to hook up to the swather hitch. Gotta be there. Yeah, you're getting close. So it wasn't actually broken then.
No, we don't know.
Dad.
Oh, yeah,
it wasn't broken. Okay, so first thing we started doing once we got this backed in was we worked on this tail deflector. That thing, yes, the part that is in 2 pieces. We got that pulled out. Dad just called. He said he got another rod that is, I believe, 71 inches and should fit there. So we'll get that on. We have the new deflector. It's in that long box right there. Unfortunately, it's just gray. It's not red, so it's not gonna match, but no big deal. But now, on to the main part, the inside. We got the turtles, I believe is what they're called. I just went and got these bolts, got the caps, and we do have those spacers. I'll go get them. They're over here, mosey through the motorcycles, and here are some. So I'm gonna get to work on that. I'll walk you through the first one. We got one that's already loose. That was the one we took. Figure out what we needed. What we're doing is we're taking these 4 bolts out. I believe I need to keep the washers, so I'll put them right there. Once we get the bolts out, this cap comes off. Once the cap comes off, lift up on it and it comes off. And once we get it off, I'll be taking the knives off. I already have this one off. I need to take that one off, but this lifts off, and then we'll put the new ones on. And that is what we'll be doing this whole way. This is a little bit different on these ones here. It'll still be somewhat the same process, except it's longer bolts. We'll have to get those spacers and put the bolt through that, and then it'll bolt down the same way as this, just longer bolts. So that's what we're doing, and cue the time lapse. Might have been able to see it in the time lapse, but I'm currently running into some problems right now. Most of the bolts are too rounded. Like this one here, I got these 2 bolts out, but these 2 are too rounded. The impact won't take them off. Ratchet won't take it off. Wrench won't take it off. I've tried everything I can think. All 4 of those ones on this one, too rounded. All 4 on that one are too rounded. The next one, there's one that's too rounded. So I got what I can. I need to go get a drink real quick. So we're back out here at the Swather. Dad ended up getting all the bolts loose that we were struggling with. He has a special socket. It's got those little, don't know what you call them, but they're made for specifically rounded bolt heads, so that worked. But since Dad remembered that he had that socket deal, he got all these bolts loose, and so I'm gonna go through, get all these ones done, and then we'll try and tackle these ones later. We're still kind of trying to figure out what we're gonna have to do, because to get these bolts loose, you're gonna have to do one at a time to where it just misses right there. So we'll try and get that done, and hopefully we can wrap this project up today. That's probably gonna do it for this video. We got the inside 8 all replaced, got new blades on, the new turtle, the actual disc, then we put all new caps on, and on this side and that one over there we put the top cap on also, and got new spacers and new bolts. Most of it's done. Still got these to do. We're gonna have to soak them in PB Blaster WD-40. They're really tight, and we're not being able to get them, so we're gonna have to let those soak for a while. And then here on the back we got our new tail deflector on. Looks pretty good. I'm not overly excited that it's not red. I kind of like it if it would match, but it is what it is. Looks good to have a new one on. We're probably gonna re-weld this. We'll grind that down and get to where it's just metal and no paint. But I think I showed what it was like before. It was really flimsy, but now I can put my whole weight into it. That doesn't move, it's solid. That's what we wanted with putting that new one on. You can see that was completely cracked, but it looks good. Now it's time to clean up the mess. If only Dad was here. I'm kidding. I'll do it.